You know how the school see three stars. See three stars. Yeah, I'm having it. The holiday starts 18 minutes. 2 minutes. They're not going to come to parties. But there are a whole lot of movies, lots of times who just comes back and says, I'm not saying you should, but
evening. We begin Kol Nidrei here on page 204.
Beshiva shamala uveshiva shamata al da'ata makom al da'ata kahal anu matirin lipalel im avaryanim Beshiva shamala uveshiva shamata al da'ata makom al da'ata kahal anu matirin lipalel im avaryanim Beshiva shamala uveshiva shamata al da'ata makom al da'ata kahal anu matirin lipalel im avaryanim
Page 205. Now please remain standing for Baruch Hu. Now that we have determined that all of us, even those few sinners who have snuck in, can all pray together, we'll do exactly that with the Baruch Hu, with the call to prayer on page 207. Page 209.
Adonai Elohim Emet. Umalchuto v'ratzon gibelu aleichem Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael chanu shira b'simcha rabah v'yameru chulam michamocha elim Adonai michamocha neder hakodesh norat tehilot osefet malchutecha ubanecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe zeli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar kivad Adonai et Yaakov u'ge'alo miyad chasach mimenu baruch atah Adonai
Roshna.
Gal Yisrael.
Top of page 211.
ושמור צאתנו בואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ויבוא עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Page 212.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם, לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם, לפני אדוני תיהרו. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ואלמד יברא גבירותי, וימלך מלכותי, בחיי חול וביומי חול, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, לעולם לעולמי הלילה, יפרח בשבת, יברא יתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי קודשה קרבו לעילה לעילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן מעל למען יאמרו אמן.
We continue with the Amidah on page 213. page 223.
V'uteinu miboker v'yeraeh Hadrateinu ad areh v'yeraeh Hadrateinu ad areh Ya'aleh Dovkeinu be'erev Ve'yavo Gileinu miboker Ve'yeraeh Bakashateinu ad areh Ve'yeraeh Bakashateinu ad areh Ya'aleh Enchateinu me'erev V'yavo Elecha miboker Ve'yeraeh Eleinu ad areh Ve'yeraeh Eleinu ad areh.
Seated. Good evening. So many years ago, I sat a long silent meditation retreat down in the Negev desert. Meditation retreats, silent meditation retreats, are funny places. They're only sort of silent in the way we think of being silent. Lots of time is actually spent listening to leaders, retreat leaders, offer guidance on contemplative practice. Turns out it's not so easy to actually be quiet and just pay attention to your breath for days on end. Now, this being Israel, of course, the teaching and the instruction was all in Hebrew. And my Hebrew was pretty good, and I'd been taking classes at the law school at Hebrew U all year, and I thought, all right, I can handle this. I was excited to have the experience of silence in the desert in Hebrew. After a few days, though, it became very clear to me that the way I processed language in an academic environment, where I was thinking and writing and taking notes, was very different from the way I processed language on a meditation retreat, where there's certainly no note-taking, and the processing of instructions is fairly passive. The problem was I couldn't really process the Hebrew passively. I needed to think about conjugation and verb tenses and the way the language worked in order to make sense of what I was hearing. But thinking about grammar is not really conducive to contemplative mind states. So I sat there frustrated that my Hebrew wasn't more effortless, frustrated that I wasn't as good as I wanted to be at something that I had worked so hard at. There were over 100 people in that room, and it seemed that all of them could do what I couldn't. They were all, in some important way, better than me. During one of the breaks, when the frustration must have just been radiating out of my pores, and I was once again failing to pay attention to my breath because I was caught up in my judgment on how bad my Hebrew was, one of the retreat organizers came over to me. "You seem frustrated," she said in English. "Is there anything I can do to help?" And I told her my tale of woe and how I couldn't really meditate in Hebrew and I shouldn't really be there in the first place and I should really just go home. And she looked at me very gently and she said, "You belong here. You are here and you belong here. Let me translate some of those talks for you." So she did. She sat next to me and she translated the talks, and it transformed the experience for me. With tremendous compassion, she saw me and she saw my frustration, and she helped make my journey a little bit easier. Even though my Hebrew wasn't good enough, I belonged there. I belonged there. That in essence, is what we're saying tonight in Kol Nidrei. The words that Zachary began with chanting, Anu matirin lehipalel im ha'avaryonim. We are permitted to pray with the transgressors, as if the transgressors were some other category of people other than those of us in this room. I know many, if not most, of the people in this room, and we are, on the whole, a not terrible group of people. But we are all transgressors. We have all transgressed. We have all fallen short, and we all belong here. We're all part of this. That's what Kol Nidrei is saying. All of us who broke the promises we made last year, all of us who violated this law or that one, all of us who aren't good enough, which is to say, all of us, period. We all belong here. Kol Nidrei is a prayer of tremendous compassion. All the sinners, all the people who haven't realized their ambitions for growth and transformation, all the people who failed to stick to their diet, all the people who failed to organize their Tupperware drawers, all of us belong here. It says it right in the liturgy. V'nislach l'kol edat b'nei Yisrael u'leger hagar b'tocham. The whole Israelite community and everyone who is with them, everyone shall be forgiven for their shortcomings. Perfection is not the price of admission for this party. It's tempting, though, to feel that perfection is the price of admission, to feel that we don't belong here or we don't belong somewhere we want to be because of our imperfections, our inadequacies. It's tempting, it's deeply tempting to say that everyone else knows more, is more generous, flosses more regularly, is generally just a better person than us. It's tempting to feel that way because it's a way of letting us off the hook. Focusing on how bad we are, focusing on our own inadequacies is a cop-out. If I hold up as my ambition to run a marathon as fast as that guy just did in Berlin, just over 2 hours, I can just give up now. I will never be that good. If my ambition is to run a little bit faster than I did last time, then I can get out and run. But if my price is perfection or world record setting, why bother trying? I can guarantee I will never set a world record in a marathon. But there is hope on the things that matter. There is hope that we can do tshuva. We can repair what is broken in our own souls, in our relationships. We can bring our souls into alignment with the source of all life. We can do that work, bit by bit, but only with tremendous compassion. Kol Nidrei is here to allow us to do that work with chesed, with compassion. The essence of tshuva, the essence of growth and transformation, is to constantly and compassionately challenge ourselves to do a little bit better. Compassion is what allows us to recognize our own worth and beauty in those moments when the growth we seek seems impossible. Chesed, or compassion, is not the belief that every behavior is permissible or lovable, but that every person is. Chesed is the understanding that every person, even you, is capable of and worthy of and even obligated to align themselves with the source of all life. That's what chesed is. Sometimes we experience chesed when we have compassion for others. We stand with them in their experiences and manifest the loving presence of the Holy One. We show up for a Shiva minyan. We send a note to congratulate somebody on something. We take a call when somebody's carburetor is breaking down on the West Side Highway and they don't know what to do. We accept apologies from people in our lives who have sinned. We take an extra step to help someone out of a bind. We can choose to make ourselves available to other people as a vessel for chesed, as a midwife for chesed. Sometimes that can take the smallest form. Galway Kinnell, a contemporary poet who I love, writes, "Everything flowers from within, of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on its brow and retell it in words and in touch. It is lovely until it flowers again from within." Sometimes we are that hand, reminding others of their loveliness. Sometimes we are that furrowed brow, waiting to be reminded of our own loveliness. There are the times when we experience chesed flowing from others to us in a moment of gentleness or connection. When someone comes to support us at a Shiva Minyan, or someone who calls us at the times we're down, what they are really offering us is compassion, passion with us, feeling with us. The Gemara teaches, "En chavush matir atzmo mebeit hasurim." There are some prisons from which a prisoner cannot free themselves. Oftentimes, we need other people to help us out of the hole we are in. Having other people wanting to be part of our lives, other people supporting us, knowing us, and caring for us is an experience of chesed, an experience of divine love in our lives. Harder, though, are those moments when we need to have compassion on ourselves. We can be our own worst critics, undermining our own growth by reminding ourselves how frequently we've failed in the past, how scary our ambitions are. Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav teaches that every person, every single person, even someone who seems to be a Rasha Lagamre, a complete and utter Rasha, has a Nekudat Tovah, has a good point within them. And the work of a pious person is to uncover that good point. He goes on to say, in really my favorite bit of Torah, that some people make their Nekudat Tovah very easy to find. And some people make their Nekudat Tovah, their good point, very difficult to find. But the obligation remains on us to find that good point. It remains on us to have that chesed for those whose good point seems to be hidden, even ourselves. We all need to receive compassion, and we all need to offer compassion. That's what this evening, that's what Kol Nidrei is coming to tell us. There is no perfect we who can now pray with the transgressors. There's only us transgressors from one end of this room to the other, and we all need compassion, most of all from ourselves. Compassion is what allows us to accept our missteps and the missteps of the people we love without giving up altogether. Over these days of awe, over these last days of awe between now and Ne'ilah, we'll hear the voices that tell us that we are imperfect beings, that we have some growing to do. Our journey is not yet complete, and we have work to do. Sometimes that voice can be a goad, a prod to further refining our souls. Other times, though, particularly late at night, that voice saying we can do better can be a club beating us around our own heads with our imperfections. In there, there's also the voice of compassion, the voice that says, "You, beautiful, imperfect being, you belong here. You are part of this community of people, all of whom are imperfect, all of whom are seeking greater clarity, greater peace. In this community, we are all journeying from where we are to where we hope to be. In the course of that journey, we will all stumble. We will all fall short. That is inevitable and unremarkable. The question is whether we can have compassion for those in our lives when they stumble and fall, and whether we can accept compassion from them, and most of all from ourselves when we stumble, as we inevitably will. The challenge isn't to be perfect, and the challenge isn't to give up hope when we realize that we are forever imperfect. The challenge is to muster the compassion for and from ourselves and for and from others, to do the work of tshuva bit by bit, a little bit more than yesterday. May we all be blessed with a year of compassion and growth. Gemara Chatima Tova. And we continue now on the bottom of page 226.
Tabor al-Pesha v'tikrasha k'yom v'yetze v'mosha v'zi shabatenu v'kakshik menu mamar k'yom v'yka b'shem Adonai v'yavor Adonai al panav v'yikra Adonai
Continue on page 227.
אנחנו ביד שלנו בידך, מציל למזור טרף, למריתה בי, למריתה בי, ואל תפן ליסר.
We continue now 2 pages forward on 229.
כמו שהודעת לנו מקדם, כמו שכתוב, וירד אדוני בענן, ויתייצב עמו שם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו, ויקרא אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערב אפיים, ורב חסד ואמת, נושא חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע, וחטא ונקה. וסלחת לעווננו וחטאתנו נחלתנו, סלח לנו אבינו, כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו, כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני, טוב וסלח, ורב חסד לכל פורעיך.
We turn ahead to page 233 for BHA Kol Nidrei, and I invite you to rise as I read ours.
Shema Koleinu, Eloheinu, ורחם עלינו, וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו.
יקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו.
השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
השיבנו אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
אל תשליכנו מלפניך, ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממנו.
תשליכנו מלפניך ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממנו.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו.
תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו.
למען שמך הגדול תמחל תסלח לעווננו ככתוב בדברי קודשך, למען שמך אדוני וסלחת לעווני כי רחום. אלוהינו ולאבותינו סלח לנו מחל לנו חבר לנו כי אנו
ואתה אדוננו, אנו קהלך, ואתה חלקנו, אנו נחלתך, ואתה גורלנו, ve'ata ro'enu, anu karmecha, ve'ata notreinu, anu vulatecha, ve'ata yotreinu, anu raitecha, ve'ata dodeinu, anu sigulatecha, ve'ata keroveinu, anu ramecha, ve'ata malkeinu, anu amarecha, ve'ata mamirenu. So we're in a very important season. As you might know, it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, if you've gotten any emails about that. Now, the point of saying this is Cybersecurity Awareness Month is not that in October we should have really good passwords on our bank accounts and emails, and then come November we should set them all back to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea is that this is something we should be paying attention to all the time. And this month we're paying particular attention because it's something we should be doing all the time. So too with Heart Health Month, whenever that might be, the idea isn't that we eat salads that month and fried Snickers the rest of the time. Right? This stuff isn't magic. So too with tshuva. This isn't magic. We're going to come in just a moment to the vidui. And it is, in some cases, the custom to beat ourselves up, in the hope maybe that if we hit ourselves hard enough, all of the sin will come popping out the other side. But it doesn't work that way. Any of us who have beat ourselves up for our shortcomings, no, it doesn't work that way. You just can't flog yourself hard enough. So as we come to the vidui, I'm struck here by the text in the lower right from Ibn Ezra. No sin is so light that it may be overlooked. No sin is so heavy that it may not be repented of. And I hear this with the voice. This is a moment when it's great to have a preschool teacher in your life. So if you can imagine Alana Friedman or Diane Bajukian, or if these names don't mean anything to you, I invite you to conjure Mr. Rogers. But quite seriously, that voice in your head saying, hey, it's okay. You can do a little better, and I love you. Right? It's not saying whatever you're doing is fine. Keep eating that fried Snickers bar. Keep setting your passwords to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do a little better, but it's okay. You don't need to beat yourself up. In fact, beating yourself up won't do anything. You need to come with compassion and do a little bit better this month and next month and the month that's after. So we're going to step into vidui, and we're going to collectively repent for all the things we've done individually as a community. And as we do that, I invite you to tap yourself gently. Don't beat yourself up. It won't do anything. Gently. And then open your hands to let that go. And have that compassion to say, okay, the ways I screwed up, the way I dropped the ball, I probably didn't kill anyone. If you did actually kill someone, come over here, we'll have a sidebar. That's a separate thing. But for the sins that most of us have probably committed, we can say, okay, I screwed that up, and I'm going to let that go, and this year I'm going to do a little bit better. I'm going to do a little bit better. So I invite you to join with me and Zachary on the vidui here on the bottom of page 234. Recount seriously the ways in which we've fallen short, because they're there, and come at them with compassion and let them go.
שאנחנו זפנינו כשעורף לומר לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו אבל אנחנו אבותינו asita v'anachnu hirshanu.
We continue down on the bottom of page 236 with paragraph A. Ata Yodea.
Ata Yodea Zerlam et Alumot Sitrei Kolcha et Achofes Kolchot Revata Uvapen Klayot Vale En Davar Nela Mimeta Ben Star Mineked Einecha Uvachein Yotzam Ilfanecha Adonai Elohim Elevotenu Shetisach Lanu Al Kol Chatotenu Vetimcha Lanu Al Kol Avonotenu Udchaper Lanu Al Kol Peshaenu Achet Shechatan Lefanecha Ve'ones U'ratzon Ve'achet Shechatan Lefanecha Ve'imut Tzadek. Al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha Ve'yetzer Hara Ve'al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha Ve'yode'im u'velo yode'im Ve'al Kulam Elohai Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kaper Lanu Al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'chaka Shub'chazav Ve'al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'chaka Shobad. Al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'einayim Ramot Ve'al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha Be'azub Metzav Ve'al Kulam Elohai Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kaper Lanu Al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'frikat Kol Ve'al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'fleilut. Al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'tzumet Yad Ve'al-Chet Shechatan Lefanecha B'timon Le'vav Ve'al Kulam Elohai Selichot Selach Lanu Mechal Lanu Kaper Lanu Ve'al Mitzvot Tzeva Mitzvot Lo Taseh Ben Sheish Bakum Aseh Ben Shein Bakum Aseh Et Agluim Lanu Et Shein Agluim Lanu Et Agluim Lanu Farmanu Lefanecha V'Ajinu L'Chalehem Ve'Shein Agluim Lanu Lefanecha Agluim V'Ituim K'Davar Shenamar Hanistarot L'Adonai Eloheinu V'Niglot Lanu V'Anenu Ad Olam La'asot Et Kol Divrei Torah Hazot.
So we turn ahead now to page 240. And so prayer is a funny thing. And this piyut, this poem, is one of my favorites because it's one of the places in the liturgy that gives voice to one of my frustrations with prayer. To some degree, I think to a large degree, prayer is a reflexive verb. It's something we do inside. It's something we do to ourselves. But to some degree, prayer is something external to ourselves. And what this piyut is saying is, hey, God, you answered our ancestors. Those who came before us, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, they had this experience where you talked to them. They talked to you and you talked to them. They didn't have these crises of faith. They didn't have this question of belief. You talked to them. Answer us. We're in pain. We're hurting. We're in need. Answer us. The angry refrain at the end of every line here, Hu Ya'anenu, is answer us. right? And some of that energy, I think, is useful in a religious life. That sense of wanting to do work internally, but also wanting to do work that is echoed back in the world. And sometimes we think that that answer is going to come in the form of the skies opening up, the earthquakes, right? Some tremendous voice of God. What we so often miss is that the Holy One is answering us. The answer comes in the form of other people. After 13 years here, I'm not even going to tell the joke. But you know the one about the flood and the guy in the canoe and the guy in the truck and the guy in the helicopter? Insert that joke here. So please let us all answer the prayers of those around us. Page 240, Huya Name. We continue on 243 with Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Hachazirenu b'tshuva shlema lifanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, shlach rufah shlema l'cholei amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, shlach rufah shlema l'cholei amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, zochrenu b'zikaron tov
Avinu Malkeinu, Zochreinu b'zichron tov lifanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Chaim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Chaim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Gila B'Yeshua.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Gula B'Yeshua.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Parnasah V'Chalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Parnasah V'Chalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Zechuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Zechuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Selicha u'Mechila.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu b'sefer Slicha u'Mechila.
Avinu Malkeinu,
Onenu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Onenu Vaneinu. Ki eimanu masim. Aseimanu. Tzedaka v'chesed, aseh imanu. Tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Onenu Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vaneinu. Ki eimanu masim. Aseh imanu. Tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu. Tzedaka v'chesed, Shalem, page 245.
Yitzchadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma nivra kiruteh ve'yamlech malchuteh. V'chayechol u'v'yomechol u'v'chayet l'chol b'et Yisrael. B'gala u'v'fakarim ve'yimru ve'yimru. Amen. Yeshemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam kol yamei ha'maraka. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromach ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalach Shemei Yekudshah Shemei Yekudshah Le'ela le'ela mikol rechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damim me'alam havim
President Mack up to share a little bit about where our community is at.
Good evening, my friends, and Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
This is my second year speaking to you all on Kol Nidrei, and my first Kol Nidrei speaking to you from the Bima in our own building. I know you've heard me say it before, but I am really, really excited to look out and see our community gathered here in the Beacon Hebrew Alliance building once again. As exciting as this is, being in our building, our home is not the most exciting thing about tonight. No, the most exciting thing about tonight is the people sitting around you inside the BHA building, not the building itself. Take a look around you. Make eye contact with someone you don't know. Smile at them. Say hello. Say Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
This is your community. It's not perfect. It's gone through some hard times lately. But it is here. We are here together tonight. Having a place to gather together anchors our community. But having people to gather with is what makes our community special, vibrant, and indeed holy. I'm not going to beat around the bush tonight. You all know exactly why I'm up here. I'm not here to impart wisdom like Brent did or to sing soulfully while leading us in prayer like Zachary. No, my friends, I'm up here tonight to ask you for money. This building, this beautiful 100-year-old building, almost 100-year-old building, with all of its charms and flaws, requires money to operate. It consumes electricity to keep the lights on. It consumes gas to keep the heat running. And it consumes the services of a wide variety of tradespeople to keep it from simply falling apart. In addition to maintaining our building, BHA pays a small staff, maintains a website, pays for security at large events like these holiday services, and maintains a full calendar of programs throughout the year. As you may know, our membership dues only cover a fraction of the actual costs of keeping the lights on. And this year we did not raise our dues at all. That's why a board president gets up here in front of you each year to ask for money. It's why I'm asking you tonight to help me reach our Kol Nidrei campaign goal of $100,000 in 2022. Because we rely on our fundraising efforts to literally keep the lights on in this space where we are gathered tonight. We do not charge for holiday tickets, but we do ask for your help. But there's something else I want to ask you for tonight. Let me start by recognizing the hard work of the BHA Ritual Committee. They are the folks who, to a very large degree, make these holiday services happen. The Ritual Committee is made up of Laura Liebeck-Smith, Bill Smith, and Jeff Gross. When I spoke with Laura this afternoon and asked her how long she had served on the Ritual Committee, she told me she wasn't really sure, but it was somewhere between 15 and 20 years. And my friends, Laura is the junior member of the Ritual Committee. Electricity may keep the physical lights on in our building, but it is our volunteers that keep our spiritual lights on. Whether it's the Ritual Committee, Matt Harl and his Chevra Kadisha team that you'll hear more about tomorrow, Deb Davidovitz and the Chesed team, and yes, the great team of Ashley Rekas, Celia Bexowski, Jamie Adams, Karen Mayer, Jenny Kaplan, Dan Tanaka, Micah Brown, and Aaron Pincus, who along with me make up our board, nothing would happen at BHA without our volunteers. Did your children enjoy the kids' programming on Rosh Hashanah? It was conceived of and staffed by volunteers. Are you planning on having a nosh downstairs to break your fast tomorrow night before heading home? It was organized by volunteers who also did the shopping. Do you enjoy our weekly potluck Shabbat dinners? Volunteers set up and clean up each week. If I took the time tonight to name the names of all of the people who make all of these programs possible through their volunteer efforts, you would quickly notice that the same names come up over and over again. If our community is to continue to grow, we need each and every one of you to pitch in, both financially by donating to the Kol Nidrei campaign and by giving your time as a volunteer. You do not need any special skills to volunteer at BHA, though of course if you have them, by all means, we can put you to work. Whatever your interest and aptitude may be, we can find a way for you to help. We have so many incredible things in the works for this coming year. If you would like to learn how to lead services, Zachary is going to be teaching a class. If you want your kids to learn the history and traditions of the Jewish people, Celia is putting together an amazing Hebrew school program. And if you just want to hang out and get to know the people in the BHA community better, we're working on fun social activities too, starting with the Rakdan Israeli line dancing party this coming Sunday at Peter and Toshi Seeger Park. BHA can be an amazing part of all of our lives all year round, but we need your help and your participation. If you're not a member of our community, please join us. Contribute to the Kol Nidrei campaign at whatever level you are comfortable and able. Show up at a program. Volunteer your time. Help us make, and I hope I get this right, 5783? 5783, the best year at BHA yet. Gamar Chatima Tova, may we all be written and inscribed in the book of life, health, and happiness for the year to come.
He's not kidding. You really need all that stuff. With that, we will continue on page 246 with Elena.
כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולם מעט תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני מלך העולם בארץ, ונאמר, והיה אדוני, למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, היום ההוא, יהיה
Tome, Mourner's Cottage on page 247.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
מעלמא תברא Rak Yeruteh, Be'amlech Malchuteh, B'chayet Hon, V'yomet Hon, U'b'chayet Kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalah, V'zman Karim, V'imru.
Amen.
Yehesh
Shnei Rabba Mivrach Le'olam Ome'o Maya.
Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipahar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shnei Kedusha, V'yichu, Le'ela, Le'ela, V'kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiram Yalma, V'yimru. Amen. Yehesh Shmama Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom V'yimrav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru. Amen.
The psalm for this special season on page 248, Psalm 27.
David Anavi Mishivira. Achat Sha'amalti Meit Adonai Otavakesh. Achat Sha'amalti Meit Adonai Otavakesh. Shivti B'Beit Adonai Kol Yemei Chayai. Lachazot b'Noam b'Noam Adonai Ulevaker b'Hechalo. Lachazot b'Noam b'Noam Adonai Ulevaker b'Hechalo.
All right.
Lulei amator k'Adonai be'Eretz Chaim, kabel Adonai, chazak yames, libecha v'kabel Adonai.
So, we'll conclude in just a moment with Yigdal. Few announcements about upcoming events. Tomorrow morning, services back here at 9 a.m. for Shachri. We'll pick up again at 5 p.m. for Mincha and Ne'ilah. Important this time of year, at this day when we are abstaining from food, and I'll say more about the power of that spiritual practice tomorrow, but this is a good time, like Cybersecurity Month, not just this time, but a particular awareness of this time of folks in our community who are in need. So there are actually two great ways of fulfilling the mitzvah of feeding the hungry around here. One on a larger regional level is the Mid-Hudson Food Bank. They've got a great warehouse over on the west side of the river that is the main center for many of the large food banks around here, including a number of the food banks here in Beacon. So supporting them is a great thing to do. Here, thanks to Beacon Mutual Aid, we've got two locations, right? One at Binnacle Books and one at the Rec Center. There is a tiny food pantry and a tiny fridge. The fridge is a normal-sized fridge. And these are actually fantastic places. They are very direct. Simply get some food, go to the pantry, put the food in the pantry, and people who need it will come and take it, right? You know the story? I'm not going to tell the story now, but the story about the challahs in the ark? Okay, well, if you don't know that, right, it's not as well known as the canoe story. I'll have to tell that one another time. Suffice it to say, God likes it when we feed hungry people. That's the summation of the story. And both in front of, actually, the food pantry is in front of Binnacle Books on Main Street. The refrigerator is behind, it's still behind there, behind Binnacle Books on Main Street. And at the Rec Center at 23 West Center Street, that's the address, right? You can just go, you can and should go and simply put food in, either in the fridge or in the pantry. There's a particular need for good protein, good meat, good dairy. So simply, when you're at the supermarket, get a couple of extra things, go to the food pantry, in front of Binnacle Books, behind Binnacle Books, at West Center Street. This is one of those times when I'm deliberately repeating myself, not just reflexively, rabbinically repeating myself, and bring food there. If you have questions about that, you can ask Dara Silverman over here, who is one of the engineers and architects of Beacon Mutual Aid, and who does many awesome things, including making those food pantries happen. Beyond that, as Jesse mentioned, we've got Rakdan, we've got the dance celebration of Sukkot this coming Sunday, and other bits of announcement from Laura.
I just wanted to remind everybody that we also participate in the pantry at St. Andrew's Church.
Yes.
And that's open every day, every Saturday from 10 to 11. And that's where people would need, anybody in need, can come and get food every week. And right now we're particularly low on cereal.
Okay, great. So yes, Laura, thank you for reminding that. All right, so this food pantry at St. Andrews, they take donations directly. They also get their food from the Mid-Hudson Food Bank. That Mid-Hudson Food Bank is part of what supplies the shelves at places like St. Andrews and many of the other food banks around here. So yes, Laura, thank you for reminding us of that. With what we do with St. Andrews, you can donate there. You can also go and volunteer there. If you've got any questions about that, you can talk to me or talk to Laura, who in addition to being the junior member of the ritual committee, is one of the regulars at the food pantry at St. Andrews. Any other announcements I'm not thinking of? Limited time offer you can get right with all the people in your life and atone for all your sins. You've got less than 24 hours. Act now. Supplies are limited. And with that, we will conclude with Yigdal on page 250.
Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimtza be'einei tel metziuto echad ben yachid ki yehichuto elam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo derutat guf le'eino guf lo na'aruf elav kedushato ha'amot l'chol davar asher Rishon min Rishit Rishit Ino Adon Olam V'chol Notzar Yoreh Gedulato Malchuto Shevan Nevuato V'tadro Elam Shesegulato V'tifarto Lo Cham Yisrael K'Moshe'o Navi U'Mavi Torah temet natal le'amoel al yad kemiro ne'man beiso lo yachal Yisrael ve'lo yamir nato le'olamim le'zurato tzofeh b'yodea zetahareinu ma'id sof davar ve'kadmato gomer
rise for a final blessing. We ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the source of all life and all blessing, to lead us into a year in which we have the courage and the compassion to get incrementally better. May we be blessed with a year free of the arrogance that we have nothing to atone for, and free of the arrogance that we can't possibly atone, but rather the compassion and the strength to incrementally be better, kinder, more patient, more loving than we have been in the year past. Lashana Tova. Gemar Tov, and I will see you in the back of the room and tomorrow morning at 9.